What is the longevity expectation of wood compared to other materials?
What do you mean longevity?
Like how long the mouthpiece lasts?
As long as you treat it properly. You know, the thing is, the wood is fragile. It's affected by moisture. So you have to clean it each time you play. You have to oil it regularly. If you do that properly, I have one of my customers is taking so much care of his mouthpiece. You look at the mouthpiece, it's like brand new, and the mouthpiece is 15 years old and he's playing it every day. Other guys, you know, they never clean the mouthpiece. You know saxophone players, so I won't tell. Those guys, it's gonna move, you know, the table is gonna move and be flat, so you have to flatten the table, rebuild the facing. So if you're this type of guy that really loves your gears and cares for it, you don't have any problem using a good wood mouthpiece, let's say, because there are also ways to build it. But if you know that you're not going to treat it properly, you better don't get a wood mouthpiece.
I'm comparing your 10 to a older rubber out of link, and just looking at the inside, the chamber on the link is considerably larger, and I notice in some of your literature you state that you have a different mouthpiece concept than the link. Could you elaborate a little bit more on your choice of the size of chamber?
Size of chamber, okay. The thing is with the link, the size of the chamber is the size of the bore of the shank, let's say, those two there. But it's a lot of step in between. So mine is very little less. Actually, it's all balanced on proportions, you know. And that's a rare thing that sometimes a bigger chamber made the mouthpiece sound like a smaller chamber, in a way, because it's all a question of balance of airstream, pressure, speed of air, etc. So a big chamber without any resistance on the airstream could accelerate the airstream, going to make it brighter. That's one thing we can consider, let's say. If the hair goes faster, you will develop more of the higher harmonics. If you slow down the airstream, you will develop more of the lower harmonics. It's not only the question of the stream, because it's also all those questions of those resonance. You know, like the link style, you have the undercut on the side. Under the side rails, you have this undercut, as they name, which is actually like a resonating chamber. On my design, it's on the back, you know, but it has the same effect, in a way. Just the way to balance it is different. So where it is, how it is made, and things like that. So I would say that I have two chambers. One is the one I described with the sphere chamber that gives all those brings in the sound, all those elements I described. The other one is like the medium-large chamber. I name it medium-large because it's supposed to be named large, while it's at the same size of the bore, and it's just a little less. You know, also it's hard to tell because, okay, the bore of my mouthpiece, they are very cylindrical, you know, and most of the mouthpiece, they are conical. I mean, I exaggerate, but they are conical like this, you know. So while you look at it, and you see the chamber going till there, you see, oh, it's a big chamber because it's a big bore. But you don't see the step. I really exaggerated there. So you really have to put something inside and go how deep it goes and what is the smallest diameter there. Most of the time it's not as big as the bore. So some link are and some aren't. So you have to make sure. By the way, with what I named the medium-large chamber, so it goes almost to the diameter of the bore and then reduced a little bit. That's why I describe it as ogival, because that gives a little compression that stabilizes the airflow, the airstream. And that's interesting, so you don't create so much of the back turbulences that are in the way while you want to blow at a bigger amplitude. Is this answering your question?
Yes. And I have another one.
Okay.
I've also got a Charles Bay rubber,
Yeah.
8. And I'm comparing it to your, again, the 10. And both of these, as opposed to the Link, have baffles.
Yeah.
And your, I'm not going to use the right phrase here, but the part of the baffle that is closest to the back of the mouthpiece is
Yeah.
rounded on yours.
Yeah.
Okay? And where the drop-off is. And on the Bay, it's straight across.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you could comment on the advantages and disadvantages of the round versus the straight drop-off of the baffle, if that's the right
Is the
phrase.
direction of reverberating the harmonics. So if it is rounded, it goes every direction. Like if it's flat, it goes going one direction.
Kind of like the drawing that you were referring to with the lack of standing waves inside the air chamber.
Yeah, but let's make a cut then. Huh? Okay, we'll have this. Let's say on this position, mine would be like this. The one you described would be like that.
Yes, that's essentially it.
You know, so if you have something going here, it's going to reverberate in many directions with the round surface. If it's flat, it's going to be really more like one direction. So it's not going to trap the waves you want to trap, because then they go back. Depends exactly on what position it is, but it's going to go like this. With this round thing, it's going to go like this, like this, like this. It's going to go every direction, and with the flat thing, is going to go one direction. That's the main. So, you know, we can discuss that a long way, because also those waves, they reverberate on the reed, inside of the mouthpiece. That has a lot of influence. You know, when you play the reed also, okay, we show it make one vibration. That's not true. The reed vibrates on itself. So, you know, like a string, we've seen that I showed yesterday. You paint it, and then you have all the harmonics that they rub on the string. You have the same thing with the reed. String instrument player, they know when they play harmonics. You just hit the portion of the string to shut part of the string, and just have one section of the string vibrating, and the rest is just vibrating a little bit, but according to, you can do that, and you know, entire multiple. On the third, on the half, you have the octave. At the third, you have the quint, etc. So you have the same thing, but you can't put your finger on the reed all the time in different places. So what is this virtual finger? Is those waves coming back from the inside on the reed that will hit the reed at a certain point and will help the reed to start vibrating on itself at different frequencies. So this is very important, and that's why the shape of this, we name it. With the engineer who designed it in 3D, we name it the beam. Yeah, it is this beam. So we worked a lot on that, you know, and to really design the right beam to have this effect, because those reflections of harmonics, then they go hit the reed some places. And that is a lot of influence on the reed. The reed's going to start to vibrate again.
Very interesting. And the when looking down the throat of the mouthpiece, the hard to describe here. The cut bowl that you described right at the tip here, is that what you're talking about, the bean, or is that the part up that way?
No, what I named the bean is this section.
Okay, this section here.
Because actually we designed it like this, you know.
Okay, and then what you
and
call...
then we cut it with a certain volume, but then we have to have all different progression of diameters and things and angles.
Okay, and then the other part that's closer to the saxophone itself, that's cut deeper. What is that called again?
Yeah, let's say the back chamber, because it closes back. So.
Yeah, back farther in here.
I used to name that the back chamber.
Back chamber. Okay. And that's cut a little deeper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. In fact, this point, is deeper than most mouthpieces. This distance here. It's even deeper than most of the biggest chamber links.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before. It's cool.
I don't play sax, so this may not.
Oh, lucky you are.
I did have to play with them. Does it matter? Does it matter how far you? I know when you put the mouthpiece on the neck, it changes the pitch. That's how you tune. But you talk about a disturbance, an air disturbance, right where the mouthpiece joins the neck, where the cork is. So, if you're changing where you're putting your mouthpiece on the neck, it changes that disturbance.
It's very important. There was one spot where it functioned. You have the scale, because, for instance, if you change 1 hinge for the high range, you have like almost a third. And if you change 1 hinge for the lower note, you don't even have a half step. So if you modify the position of the mouthpiece, it has a lot of influence on the high note and way less on the low note. So there is only one spot where it is in balance with all the instruments. So good saxophone players that tunes, they never change the position of the mouthpiece. They go and watch where the piano is. Ding, oh, it's pretty high. It's going to be a tough work. Because then you have to correct and press a little bit. As soon as you move the mouthpiece, the whole tuning of the instrument is gone and will never come back. And you will fight because the relationship between notes is going to be totally different. And you'll get lost. So, at least, as they used to say, it's better to be a little sharp than out of tune. Okay, if the mouthpiece is pushed a little too far according to the general pitch, you'll be a little too sharp. But in tune against yourself, you can play consistent phrases. That's why it's very difficult to play with other instruments. One thing I wanted to mention, but it's too short. Usually, I made a class like this. I made 10 sessions of 4 hours. It's different. We are known like reducing the whole thing. But one main thing that is very interesting for all of you is that, as I said, I mentioned that with the string, if you release the tension of the string, it goes low. So also with the hair. But what happens if the temperature raised, the pressure of the hair raised, so the pitch of the saxophone goes up. But the tension of the string goes down because you have dilatation of the material. So it goes down and goes flat. So if it's in a warm environment, you're inside or you have the sun going on the instruments, the wind instrument goes up, the string instrument goes down. And they each other look at each other saying, "You're out of tune." Who's out of tune? Okay.
Is this true? So what you're describing is also true for flute with the head?
Yes.
So there's one place it should be.
Yes. But as I show, also by, if you close more or less the embouchure will change. So on flute it's, I would say, a little different. It's a little different with saxophone too, because the way you bite and things. So you have to do it, and that's why you can adjust a little bit to find the position for yourself. But the distance is not much. It's not like pulling it for half a hinge.
Right.
I mean, it's totally going. But it's going to be on a few thousands of hands. Like the total thing might be 1-2 millimeters. If you do more than that, you're lost. But then you can adapt. I never forget this. I was playing a flute duet with a friend of mine, just came home, took his flute, oh, that's pretty beautiful duet, okay, we played. Perfectly in tune. We were sweating and we stopped. Man, let's try to tune. to adjust the instrument to be relaxed, because we're correcting it all the time to adjust to each other's pitch, you know. So we finally found a point where everybody was comfortable, and there was the same intonation, same everything, but okay, we enjoyed more playing music. So that's why you always have to find a balance, and as I said, saxophone is full of compromises, and you have to find the spot where it functions together.